From the beginning of his career, Jungkook's path reflected a strong sense of direction. He was recruited at a very young age, and at that stage, inspiration played a practical role in guiding him. While he acknowledged senior idols like G-Dragon as motivators, Jungkook's real strength was in how he processed those inspirations into actions. He trained rigorously, shaped his voice, developed his dance precision, and most importantly, studied how an idol could balance artistry with long-term growth. For Jungkook, inspiration was not about imitation but about recognition of possibilities. He saw how idols before him had expanded their artistic boundaries and used that awareness as a framework to imagine his own future. This is why Jungkook consistently positions himself not just as a performer but as someone seeking creative control. He understood early on that K-pop idols needed to be versatile, capable of excelling in multiple domains at once. His ability to integrate singing, dancing, songwriting, and production into his career demonstrates how he translated inspiration into concrete skills. This is where his awareness of senior idols' careers played a role. By watching how established figures shaped their identities, Jungkook recognized the importance of creating a unique artistic image. Over time, he carefully transitioned from being seen only as the youngest powerhouse of BTS to being acknowledged as a vocalist, performer, and eventually a soloist capable of leading global charts. Unlike many idols who remain within fixed images set by their agencies, Jungkook continuously redefined himself. His stage presence matured. His vocal delivery shifted from youthful tones to controlled and powerful dynamics, and his aesthetic choices began reflecting his personal identity. This evolution shows how Jungkook internalized lessons from past idols but reframed them to fit his own vision. A central part of Jungkook's career is his increasing involvement in creative processes. Fans and industry observers note that he does not merely perform what is given to him, he actively participates in shaping the output. This approach mirrors the inspiration he once acknowledged, but is ultimately Jungkook's own pathway. His participation in BTS's music, where he contributed vocals, production ideas, and creative direction, set the foundation for his later solo projects. When he released solo works, the influence of his personal preferences became even clearer, demonstrating a balance between commercial appeal and individual artistry. What stands out is Jungkook's ability to merge discipline with flexibility. He consistently trains to perfect his technical skills while leaving space for experimentation. This approach aligns with how leading artists maintain relevance, by continually upgrading themselves. For Jungkook, the idea of inspiration was simply the starting point. The rest of the journey was built on relentless self-improvement. More than anything else, Jungkook is known as a performer. His ability to combine singing and dancing at high intensity sets him apart not only in K-pop but also on global stages. This emphasis on performance comes from his understanding that in modern music industries, visual and physical presentation matters as much as sound. While he may have observed predecessors using style and stage design as extensions of their artistry, Jungkook applied these lessons to his own growth. His performances are known for precision, emotional control, and the ability to create memorable moments. Importantly, he does not rely on repetition. Each performance is carefully adjusted to context, whether it be a stadium concert, an award show, or a solo stage. Jungkook's consistency as a performer demonstrates why ARMY always wonders about his sources of inspiration. The truth, however, is that his artistry today cannot be reduced to one influence. Instead, it is the result of a multi-layered process, observing others, applying lessons, and refining them into a personal standard that only he maintains. The reason ARMY remains curious about Jungkook's inspiration is because they want to understand the roots of his unmatched quality. When Jungkook mentions a figure like G-Dragon, fans immediately connect the dots, assuming that this is the blueprint for his success. In reality, while inspiration exists, the true explanation lies in Jungkook's transformation of influence into individuality. For Jungkook, influence is not a destination, it is a stepping stone. His acknowledgement of senior idols simply shows respect for the industry's evolution. But the greater story is how Jungkook has surpassed early inspirations to become the new model for future artists. Just as he once looked up to predecessors, new idols now look to him as the standard of global excellence. Perhaps the most striking outcome of Jungkook's career is how he has moved beyond being inspired to becoming an inspiration himself. His trajectory demonstrates that influence works in cycles. What began as admiration for senior idols evolved into his own established identity, which in turn now shapes the ambitions of new generations. In the global music industry, Jungkook stands as a rare figure who merges local cultural roots with international recognition. His achievements, from dominating charts to collaborating with Western artists, show that he has reached a point where his artistry sets benchmarks rather than follows them. This shift reveals why Jungkook's story cannot be reduced to inspiration alone. Instead, it must be understood as a process of transformation, inspiration leading to development, development leading to innovation, and innovation establishing him as a global icon. In any creative field, the natural progression for an artist is to move from being inspired to becoming innovative. For Jungkook, this transition began earlier than many realize. From the beginning of BTS's rise, Jungkook demonstrated a level of adaptability and initiative that suggested he was not content to remain within a traditional idol framework. While he openly acknowledged figures like G-Dragon as early motivators, Jungkook's career soon displayed a shift in focus, from admiration to personal invention. His evolution in BTS's discography shows how his vocal tone, stage presence, and image developed in ways that did not simply replicate a predecessor, but instead introduced something new to the industry. This move from inspiration to innovation is crucial in explaining why Jungkook stands at a different level today. He has not only borrowed ideas, but transformed them into original methods of artistry, creating a distinct identity that is no longer dependent on earlier models. One of the clearest areas where Jungkook differentiates himself is vocal ability. While K-pop idols are often recognized for performance versatility, Jungkook is consistently placed in a higher category because of his vocal range, control, and emotional delivery. Over the years, he developed a technique that balances power with subtlety. His ability to move from stable high notes to controlled falsettos demonstrates not only training, but also a strategic approach to artistry. Unlike many idols who remain confined to agency-directed vocal roles, Jungkook carved out a signature sound. This vocal identity ensures that when listeners hear him, they do not simply associate him with BTS as a group, but recognize his individual artistry. It is through this specialization that Jungkook separates himself from inspiration and becomes a distinct voice in global music. Another element that defines Jungkook's independence is his approach to dance. While heavily inspired by earlier generations' focus on choreography, Jungkook elevated the standard by combining technical accuracy with natural expressiveness. Many performers deliver choreography with precision, but Jungkook stands out for making each movement appear effortless, blending athletic strength with fluidity. His performances are marked by discipline, but also adaptability. He can adjust style depending on genre, stage environment, or collaborative setting. This skill is not merely about following existing dance structures. It demonstrates a higher level of physical artistry, positioning him closer to professional dancers than typical pop idols. In doing so, Jungkook redefines what fans and critics expect from a main performer in the K-pop industry. While K-pop is rooted in Korean culture, Jungkook is one of the few idols who successfully adapted his artistry for international contexts. This goes beyond singing in English. It involves understanding Western production styles, stage expectations, and audience dynamics. When Jungkook released his solo work, including collaborations with Western producers and artists, he demonstrated fluency in global pop frameworks. This ability distinguishes him from earlier inspirations, who largely focused on leading K-pop's domestic and regional expansion. Jungkook instead became a global competitor, able to enter charts alongside the world's top pop stars. This shift is critical because it demonstrates independence. Jungkook's trajectory no longer mirrors the traditional K-pop model of staying within regional markets. It shows that he consciously moved toward becoming a global pop star, not just a Korean idol. Another reason Jungkook has managed to differentiate himself is his approach to branding. While K-pop idols often rely on stylized images created by agencies, Jungkook cultivated a reputation for authenticity and relatability. His use of live streams, direct fan communication, and casual self-presentation created a balance with his high-level performances. This dual identity global superstar on stage, approachable personality off stage, helped Jungkook build a personal brand that feels independent and organic. Unlike his early inspirations, who often relied heavily on constructed mystique, Jungkook represents a modern model of transparency. Fans not only admire his talent, but also connect with his personality, making his influence stronger and more sustainable in today's digital-driven entertainment culture. A further element of independence lies in Jungkook's strategy for career longevity. Many idols peak during group activities, but struggle to maintain individual relevance afterward. Jungkook, however, prepared for long-term success by carefully building skills that extend beyond group activities. Vocal technique ensures e can sustain solo performances. Dance ability maintains his stage dominance. Songwriting and production involvement allow him creative control. Global positioning ensures relevance in both Eastern and Western markets. By developing all these simultaneously, Jungkook shows that his career is not an extension of inspiration, but the result of deliberate planning. He positioned himself to remain active and relevant even in scenarios where group activities are paused, as seen during BTS's military enlistments. This foresight proves his independence while inspiration sparked his journey. Strategy now defines it. One reason fans continue to ask about Jungkook's inspiration is that they recognize his uniqueness but want to trace its source. In reality, Jungkook's independence is best observed in how fans describe him compared to other idols. ARMY frequently emphasize his consistency, his ability to deliver in every performance, and his adaptability across different contexts. These observations confirm that Jungkook's identity no longer relies on being inspired by someone, but on being the standard himself. New idols already cite Jungkook as their role model, demonstrating that he has fully transitioned from admirer to inspiration. Jungkook's independence reflects a broader shift within the entertainment industry. While earlier idols paved the way, Jungkook represents a new generation that operates on global terms. His success shows how K-pop has moved beyond regional limitations, becoming part of the international mainstream. By building his own model of artistry, Jungkook stands not just as a product of the system, but as a contributor to its evolution. His journey from inspiration to innovation highlights how the industry itself has matured, enabling artists to transcend the idol framework and become global icons. Jungkook's acknowledgement of early inspirations is part of his history, but the dominant story is how he developed an identity independent of them. Through vocal mastery, dance precision, global adaptability, authentic branding, and strategic planning, Jungkook established himself as an artist who no longer follows but leads. His career trajectory demonstrates that while inspiration sparks beginnings, true artistry lies in innovation and independence. Jungkook embodies this principle, showing ARMY and the global music industry that he has surpassed the stage of being influenced. He is now the one setting the influence. As the industry continues to evolve, Jungkook's model provides clear evidence of how a K-pop idol can become a global artist, defined not by predecessors, but by their own originality,